Ever wondered just how far human stupidity can take you? Spoiler, straight out of the gene pool. Welcome to our wild ride through the Darwin Awards, where bad decisions meet epic consequences with a side of LOL worthy chaos. Picture this: one guy tries to play Uber driver for a 3.5-meter python on a moped, only to get a deadly hug from his scaly passenger. Or how about the dude who turned a steamy night into a literal misfire, shooting his own, future legacy? These are just the start of the jaw-dropping stories we've got lined up. Buckle up, America. This is going to be one hilariously unhinged journey through the best of the worst. Number 1. First up, meet Ken Charles Barger, a 47-year-old American who clearly didn't get the memo that guns and phones are not interchangeable. Picture this. It's the middle of the night. Ken's half asleep, probably dreaming about his favorite burger joint when the phone rings. Or so he thinks. In a groggy haze, he reaches for his bedside table, grabs his trusty handgun instead of his Nokia, puts it to his ear, and bam, answers the call in the most permanent way possible. Posthumously awarded a Darwin Award, Ken's story is a reminder. If your phone feels suspiciously heavy and metallic, maybe double check before saying, hello? I mean, come on, Ken. Even my grandma knows the difference between a flip phone and a 45. This guy single-handedly proved that sleepwalking through life can have a real bang of an ending. Number 2. Now, let's hop over to Malaysia for a tale that's straight out of a slapstick horror flick. Zim Chan, our next Darwin Award contender, decided one fine day in 2018 that he needed to transport a 3.5-meter python. Yes, a snake longer than your average SUV on a moped. A moped, you know, those scooters that struggle to carry a grocery bag, let alone a giant writhing reptile. Zim thought, I'll just drape this python around me like a fashionable scarf and zip through town. Spoiler alert, pythons aren't big on road trips. The snake, probably thinking, this guy's my lunch now, coiled around Zim and squeezed the life out of him. Literally. He suffocated before he could even hit the brakes. Moral of the story? If you're planning to play Indiana Jones on a scooter, maybe pick a less huggy co-passenger. Zim's exit was a masterclass in why you don't mess with Mother Nature on 2 wheels. Number 3. Next, we've got Limba, a Taoist magician from 2017 who went by the nickname Black Dog. Sounds like a guy who'd be fun at a magic convention, right? Well, Lim decided to prove his divinity in a way that makes Houdini look like a cautious accountant. His grand plan? Climb into a giant steamer, like the kind you'd use for dim sum, and cook himself alongside some rice and corn. Yes, you heard that right. He thought sitting in a boiling pot would scream, I'm a god, instead of, I'm a human soup. Spoiler. Divinity didn't show up, but third-degree burns did. Lim's steamy stunt ended with him as the main course in a tragic culinary catastrophe. If you're trying to prove you're immortal, maybe start with something less scalding. This guy's story is a hot mess, and I mean that literally. Number 4. Moving on to Pakistan, we have Muhammad Niaz, a 40-year-old who took blind faith to a whole new level. In 2019, Muhammad hooked up with a local miracle worker who promised to resurrect him for a crowd. The pitch? I'll kill you, then bring you back to life. Easy peasy. Muhammad, apparently not a fan of skepticism, said, sign me up! So the miracle worker did his thing, killed Muhammad for the big demo, and surprise, surprise, the resurrection part didn't quite pan out. The crowd waited. The miracle worker probably started sweating, and Muhammad, well, he stayed very, very dead. This Darwin Award winner reminds us, if someone says they can bring you back from the grave, maybe ask for a trial run on a goldfish first. Mohammed's story is proof that faith is great, but trusting a guy with a shaky track record in miracles? Not so much. Number 5. Next, let's head to Germany for a story that's equal parts tragic and honestly a bit cartoonish. A 63-year-old pensioner had a mole problem in his backyard. Not the spy kind, the burrowing kind. Instead of calling an exterminator or, I don't know, buying a trap, this guy went full mad scientist. His plan? Connect metal rods to a high voltage power line and zap the mole into oblivion. Sounds like a plan Wile E. Coyote would love, right? Well, just like in a Looney Tunes episode, the only thing that got zapped was our pensioner. He turned himself into a human lightning rod and, well, let's just say the mole won that round. This Darwin Award goes to a man who proved that when it comes to pest control, high voltage is a low IQ move. Maybe stick to a shovel next time, folks. Number 6. Picture this. It's 2018, and an unnamed woman decides it's time for a smoke break. No big deal, right? Except she's in a wheelchair with an oxygen tank strapped to it. Now, most people would think, hey, maybe lighting a cigarette next to a tank of pure oxygen isn't the brightest idea. Not our gal. She rolls out, sparks up, and poof, the oxygen tank turns her break into a blazing inferno. She didn't survive the burns, but she did earn a Darwin Award for turning a quick puff into a tragic pyrotechnic show. Folks, if your life support equipment could double as a rocket booster, maybe skip the nicotine. This one's a glowing reminder to read the warning labels. Number 7. Next, we head to Romania, where a 50-year-old guy in 2018 finds an old artillery shell in a field. Now, a sensible person might call the bomb squad or, leave it alone. But this guy, he channels his inner MacGyver, minus the skills, and decides to crack it open with brute force. Spoiler, the shell wasn't a fan of his DIY approach. It exploded, sending him straight to the Darwin Award Hall of Fame. I can just imagine him thinking, I've got this, right before the boom. Pro tip, America, if you find a rusty explosive in a field, don't treat it like a piñata. Leave the heavy metal to Metallica. Number 8. Now, let's jet to Cambodia, 1999, for a story that redefines bad game night. 3 guys, fueled by enough booze to sink a ship, decide to play Russian roulette. But instead of a revolver, they use, wait for it, an anti-tank mine. Yes, a device designed to obliterate tanks. Their genius plan? Take turns stepping on it, daring it to blow. Surprise, surprise, it did. All 3 were sent skyward, earning a collective Darwin Award. I mean, who looks at a mine and thinks, let's make this a drinking game? These guys turned YOLO into a literal explosion of regret. Don't try this at home, folks, unless your home is a bunker. Number 9. Back to Germany, 1999, where a hunter proves that man's best friend can also be his worst shot. This guy's out in the woods, shotgun ready, when his dog, probably just excited for a squirrel, decides to join the action. The pup steps on the trigger, and bam! The hunter becomes the hunted. He didn't survive, but he did snag a Darwin Award for the ultimate betrayal by Fido. Moral of the story? Keep your shotgun out of paw's reach, or you might end up as Rover's accidental target practice. This one's for all you dog lovers out there. Train your pup to fetch, not fire. Number 10. Next, we're back in the good old USA, Texas, 1999, where 3 young guys decide to spice up their day with some backyard ballistics. They find an artillery shell, because apparently explosives are just lying around, and think, let's shoot it with a pistol and see what happens. What happens is a Darwin Award-worthy disaster. One guy didn't make it, and the other 2 got a painful lesson in physics. Look, Texas, we love your go big or go home vibe, but maybe don't turn live ammo into a shooting gallery. These dudes learned the hard way that bullets plus bombs equals a one-way ticket to Darwin's Hall of Fame. Number 11. We've got a guy from Wisconsin, 2002, who took intimate activities to a whole new level of regret. Picture this. He's in the heat of the moment, probably thinking he's Casanova when he decides to spice things up with a loaded gun. Yeah, you heard that right. Instead of sweet nothings, he accidentally shoots his, family jewels. Miraculously, he survived. But his reproductive career? Done. Donazo. He snagged a Darwin Award for taking himself out of the gene pool with a literal bang. Ladies and gentlemen, if your bedroom vibe includes firearms, maybe stick to candles for ambiance. This guy's a walking or limping reminder that romance and revolvers don't mix. Number 12. Next, we're off to Colorado, 2002, where a guy thought he could outrun the cops and rewrite the script for The Fugitive. While hightailing it from the police, he's firing his gun over his shoulder like he's in a Hollywood blockbuster. Problem is, his aim was less John Wick and more whoops. That's my head. Yep, he accidentally shot himself in the skull, earning a one-way ticket to the Darwin Awards. If you're gonna play cowboy on the run, maybe practice your aim first. Or, don't shoot backward while sprinting. This guy's final scene was a masterclass in how not to make an exit. Number 13. Now, let's swing down to Mexico, 2002, where three would-be robbers decided to take on a gun seller with the world's worst plan. Armed with a gas canister and a baseball bat, because apparently they thought they were auditioning for a low-budget heist movie, they stormed in ready to rumble. Spoiler, the gun seller had actual guns. Lots of them. The trio didn't make it out, but they did score a group Darwin Award for thinking pepper spray and a Louisville Slugger could outmatch an arsenal. Pro tip, amigos, if you're robbing a gun shop, maybe bring more than sporting goods in a dream. These guys struck out in the worst way possible. Number 14. Over in Jordan, 1994, we've got a terrorist who proves even bad guys can have an off day. This guy plants a bomb in an adult cinema, probably thinking he's about to make a big statement. But then, the plot twist, he gets sucked into the movie. Yep, instead of hightailing it out, he's glued to the screen, popcorn in hand, until boom! His own bomb cuts the show short. He earned a Darwin Award for literally blowing his own cover. If you're gonna play villain, maybe set a timer, or at least skip the matinee. This guy's final act was a blockbuster disaster. Number 15. Next, we've got a Ukrainian poacher who thought electro fishing was his ticket to a big catch. His plan? Toss a live electric cable into the river to zap some fish. Solid start, right? Except he forgot one tiny detail: turning off the current before wading in to collect his haul. Zap! He became the catch of the day, fried to a crisp and handed a Darwin Award. If you're playing with high voltage near water, maybe take a page from basic physics, or at least wear rubber boots. This guy's story is a shocking reminder that you can't outsmart electricity. Number 16. We've got a Swiss lieutenant who clearly skipped the strategy class at military school. Picture this. Somewhere in Switzerland, this guy decides to spice up a training drill by simulating a bayonet attack on a soldier armed with a machine gun. Yeah, you read that right. He's charging in with a pointy stick, thinking he's in a medieval reenactment, while his buddy's got an automatic weapon locked and loaded. Spoiler, the machine gun won. This lieutenant earned a Darwin Award for turning a training exercise into his final curtain call. If you're gonna play knight in shining armor, maybe don't pick a fight with modern firepower. This guy's last charge was one for the history books and the obituary. Number 17. Next, we've got a tale of two restaurant owners who took food fight to a deadly extreme. In a location and time lost to the mists of idiocy, these two culinary geniuses settled a business dispute the old-fashioned way. A duel. Pistols at dawn, egos at full blast, and both thinking they're the next Hamilton. Problem is, they both ended up more like Burr's target. Both died, snagging a rare double Darwin Award for their trouble. If you're arguing over who makes the better burger, maybe hash it out over a beer instead of bullets. These guys cooked up a recipe for disaster that's still sizzling in Darwin Award lore. Number 18. Now, let's head to northern Ghana, where 16 soldiers decided to test their luck and a shaman sales pitch. These guys bought into a bulletproof charm guaranteed to make them invincible in a fight. Sounds like a deal, right? So they do what any reasonable group would, stage an intertribal shootout to prove it. Guess what? The shaman's magic was about as useful as a paper umbrella in a hurricane. All 16 bit the dust, earning a collective Darwin Award for their unwavering faith in snake oil. If someone's selling you bulletproof vibes, maybe test it on a mannequin first. This crew learned the hard way that magic doesn't stop lead. Number 19. Fast forward to 2022, Ukraine, where Russian soldiers in the Red Forest near Chernobyl decided to play dirty. Literally. These guys thought digging trenches in one of the most radioactive places on Earth was a solid plan. Spoiler, it wasn't. They soaked up lethal doses of radiations faster than you can say glow in the dark. This marked the first collective Darwin Award nomination, proving that stupidity can be a team sport. If your battle plan involves camping in a nuclear wasteland, maybe check Google Maps for a less deadly spot. These soldiers radiated bad decisions in every sense of the word. Number 20. Next, we've got Nuen from Vietnam, 2005, who took Dare to be Different to explosive new heights. To prove an old detonator was a dud, Nguyen pops it in his mouth, because, that's the logical place for explosives, and hooks the wires to a 220-volt socket. Surprise! It wasn't a dud. The resulting boom earned him a Darwin Award and a permanent spot in the What Was He Thinking Hall of Fame. If you're testing explosives, maybe use a long stick, not your face. Nguyen's final act was a shocking reminder that curiosity killed more than just the cat. Number 21. Now, we've got an unnamed robber from 2003 who redefined checking your work. Picture this guy, mid-heist, pointing his gun at a victim, pulling the trigger, and nothing. Click. Most people would think, maybe the gun's jammed? Better check it safely. Not our guy. He decides the best way to troubleshoot is to peer down the barrel and pull the trigger again. Spoiler, it wasn't jammed. The bullet found its mark, his head, and he bagged a Darwin Award faster than you can say brain freeze. If your gun's acting up during a robbery, maybe don't use your face as a test range. This guy's final heist was stealing his own shot of survival. Number 22. Next, we're off to Brazil, 2006, where a man thought he'd crack open a grenade launcher like it was a stubborn pickle jar. His plan? Run it over with his car. Because nothing says precision engineering like a few tons of metal and some horsepower, right? Wrong. The launcher exploded, sending this guy straight to the Darwin Award podium. I can just imagine him revving the engine thinking, this'll show that grenade who's boss. Spoiler, it did. If you're dealing with explosives, maybe stick to a wrench, or better yet, a bomb squad. This dude drove right into the history books, and not in a good way. Number 23. Now, let's head to Gabon, 2006, where a pastor decided to go full-on biblical with a water walking stunt. Claiming divine powers, he steps onto a lake, probably expecting angels to cheer him on. Instead, gravity and physics had other plans. He sank like a stone and drowned, earning a Darwin Award for his soggy sermon. If you're going to channel Jesus, maybe start with something less ambitious, like turning water into coffee. This pastor's leap of faith was more like a belly flop into eternity. Number 24. Over in the Philippines, 1999, we've got a group of NBI agents who took smoke break to a whole new level. These guys were handling dynamite, the stuff that goes boom, and decided it was the perfect time to light up some cigarettes. Surprise, surprise! The dynamite didn't appreciate the secondhand smoke. The resulting explosion sent them all to the Darwin Awards Hall of Fame. If you're surrounded by explosives, maybe swap the Marlboros for a mint. These agents learned the hard way that smoking really is hazardous to your health. Number 25. Next, we're in Bangkok, 1999, where an elderly monk and 3 followers thought they'd whip up a DIY herbal sauna. Sounds relaxing, right? Except their homemade setup turned into a death trap. Instead of a spa day, they got a one-way ticket to the afterlife, earning a group Darwin Award. If you're building a sauna, maybe check the user manual, or at least make sure it's not a pressure cooker. These folks steam their way right out of the gene pool. And that's a wrap, America. From python wrestling mopeds to bedroom misfires, we've just taken a wild tour through the Darwin Awards, where the only winners are the ones who remind us to think twice before doing, well, anything these folks did. Evolution's out here playing no games, and these stories are proof that stupidity is the fastest way to a permanent timeout. Thanks for watching this parade of epic face palms. If you laughed, cringed, or just shook your head, smash that subscribe button and drop a comment below. Tell us which Darwin disaster had you spitting out your coffee. Stay smart, stay safe, and we'll see you next time for more tales of what were they thinking.